Before we start, I'll just say a quick word about the title. We chose to put a field report into the title because it kind of summarizes our approach. It's a term used in engineering, for instance, for a report back from the field about how work is going. And it's also used in anthropology as well for how studying how communities work. And we work very closely with literacy communities in the field. So this is our field report. So a quick overview. I'll do this, Dan, then we can both do the next one, okay?
Okay.
So this is what we're going to cover in this talk, and it follows on from what Rachel has been saying. We're creating tools to support very basic literacy development for people who can speak English but cannot read and write. And as we'll see, this is a really big issue in the English-speaking world. And we're designing it specifically for under-resourced, underfunded community settings. And that's inspired a lot of our development work and design work. So it's a combined collection of both digital and printed materials, and the role of print is still really important. And it's to deliver this comprehensive adult literacy program, which we think is probably fairly unique in the English-speaking world. And the resources are for adult learners alongside the training materials for their tutors. So this is the problem that we face. Diane?
Yeah, hello, I'm Diane. I suppose, well, I'm hoping that a lot of you will understand the problems that you have in America, but it's just the same here in the UK. As we've got here on the screen, 20, probably more than 20% of working age population have a literacy issue, and 40% failure in schools. I'll not read all of it out, but it just shows that that's what the problem is, and we're trying to make a difference. First of all, because the problem is so huge, and there's only so much time that we have, but we were trying to design learning resources designed specifically for adults. My background is in working in further education and community settings where there is very few resources specifically for adults, and also for training materials for their tutors to make sure that they can prepare young people who are leaving school for work or for volunteering or for further education. So, and John has written the presentation here, and we've taken a quote from your National Action Plan for Adult Literacy, which is great. I mean, I know you might think there might be some problems in America, but at least you have a National Action Plan. We don't have that here in the UK yet, so we're following your lead. So next slide, please, John.
Okay. Yeah, so this is our response to this. It's a very difficult situation. Adult education generally has been slashed to the bone in the UK through austerity since 2008. So this is our vision. You know, you have to have a vision and a mission in this business. So every citizen in society should have the right to read and write as a matter of social justice. So we're very much driven by this. And that's our mission. We create this adult literacy program, and we're basing it on evidence-based design, recent research in how people acquire reading and writing skills. But it's kind of unique in a way it's designed specifically for others to deliver. Because as Diane says, the problem is so big, no single organization can hope to tackle this alone. So we've created resources that we think plug these two big holes. I'll just nip back, that were identified in the USA National Action Plan, which applies equally to the rest of the English-speaking world. There's a shortage of learning resources designed for adults, and there's a shortage of support for training for adult literacy tutors. So our materials are designed to try and plug those two holes. We do a bit of teaching ourselves, but this is designed to help the adult literacy community worldwide. Oh yeah, this is where we work, Diane.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the wee green dot in the middle, and of course that map is based on where we are. I'm sure if there was a map that you put up in America, we're right in the centre, but because we're from the UK, you can see where we are. But the rest of the map in orange is where citizen literacy resources are used, believe it or not, which is fantastic for us. We work in community education, ESOL for it's English first because of other language. I'm sure you might have your own kind of abbreviation for that. Prison education, we work in our resources are used in a number of prisons in Scotland, and we're working to have them moved out to the UK as well. We call recovery education. I don't know what you call it where you are, but it's working with people who are in recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. My job or my volunteering kind of role years ago was working with people who were homeless, and the majority of those would have some sort of either drug or alcohol addiction. So very strong kind of links to that part of society, unfortunately. Community colleges where we're based, secondary school, so that's ages 11 up to 16 or 18. SEND is supported education. Sorry, John, on you go.
We're just starting a pilot in a secondary school in Britain, although we never targeted schools in the first place. We're starting to get interest from them. And just a quick word, this map is based on the Google Analytics from our Learner web app as well. Sorry, Dan.
No. And the great thing is we're going to tell you, we will be telling you about our web app, obviously, and you'll be able to see that the amazing tools that we've got, and the fact that we can, whilst I'm in Glasgow, Scotland, as you probably guessed, from my accent, but the stuff that we create here is having an impact all over the world. And as you said at the bottom, the Indigenous peoples, we're working in Australia, in Melbourne at the moment, but also up in the northwest with the Indigenous people. So many people have such a problem, but we're doing our best to try and make our small difference. I think so.
Oh yeah, so this is again about the scope of the problem. This screenshot of a crowd shows how many people on average in a crowd will be affected by low literacy. So it's a really big problem in our society. And contrary to stereotypes, many people with low literacy and low skills are in employment. And most, in our experience, own a smartphone, which is one of the reasons why we created the Learner web app as a viable platform for delivering some independent learning for people. Yeah, we've got this thing, beware of stereotypes. The OECD says most of these folks are not school dropouts. They're not unemployed, they're actually in work. So if you like, from an economic point of view, it's a vastly underused human resource in society. The other thing I'd like to point out is this link between digital literacies and textual literacy. If you can't read and write properly, you're going to have trouble gaining good digital literacy. And here's a screen, pictures of Diane's class in the community college. Shows the diversity of low literacy learners in terms of age, gender, and race. And
John, can I just say, I said to Rachel earlier that I've been given strict instructions to speak clearly and slowly and not to kind of go off on a tangent, but I can't help doing this one. The boy in the right-hand corner, he used to be in my adult literacy class on a Monday afternoon. He now works in a shop in Mulgai, which is an area near where I live. And he was on the till and he served me. And then anyway, I was talking to him and he's doing really well now. It's fantastic. He's got a job, he's got a family. And he said to the people behind me in the queue, that woman taught me how to read and write. That's why we do what we do. So sorry, but it's amazing. I mean, it's just fantastic. When you get that. Sorry,
it shows the smartphone is a viable delivery platform for learning. So our design is mobile first. Oh yeah, a quick word about our approach to literacy. We call it total literacy, and it's from football, the notion that if you've got to be a footballer, you need all the skills to play in any location on the field. So it's not just phonics, as Diane would say. It includes all of these things. And because it's designed for adults, not children, we can do this. Children are beginner learners, adults aren't. So our app and the face-to-face program that it supports moves quite quickly through all these skills. By the way, that's the Dutch World Cup football squad, just in case you're curious. We're going to give a demo of the app in the breakout if we can, which we should have said earlier. But here's a summary of the program resources. And you'll see on the left-hand side is a screenshot of the app. In the middle is good old-fashioned printed books, which are still really important in literacy. And those books include tutor handbooks with lesson plans for tutors and learner workbooks for the learners to write in. And the physical act of writing on paper or on screen, handwriting that is still really important for encoding the knowledge of literacy. And on the right-hand side is a summary of the tutor hub that we've produced. We're not really going to go into that in the demo, but it's quite an advanced set of tools that include authoring tools that can deliver customized exercises into the app for target learners if they're registered. But our app is designed for non-registered learners, and we gather no personal data about learners that they could be identified by. And I'll just move on quickly now. Oh yeah.
Read this out last week.
Our resources are available in the USA. They're printed resources. So if people want to buy our handbooks and then be able to use the free web app, they can just go into Amazon. Unfortunately, we cannot post them to the USA easily now. But you'll see there that the zip code is the White House, I believe, in the US of A, if anyone out there wants to buy our books. So yeah, as this is a tech strategy breakout session, I thought we'd better quickly cover some tech issues. So the Free Learner web app, which supports a face-to-face course but can be used independently. It's some of the first of their kind in literacy education, and it is well connected to what we call evidence-based approaches to literacy, which is a big issue here and in the US. So the important thing about the web app is this: there's no user registration required. It's not in the app stores. It's free to access directly. It's a website that runs like a native app. There's no adverts in the app. There's no in-app purchases, and no personal data or registration is required. And just as an aside, we use anonymous tracking data to give the learner instant feedback. It also includes a bit of multimedia interactivity and gameplay, and it's got voice and handwriting recognition included, which gives instant feedback. A bit more on it's nearly a progressive web app. There's no app store involved, and there's one code base for us to maintain. And for those more techie types, there's no software frameworks. This is all hand-rolled code. And the reason for that is the bullet points underneath. Security, black boxes in these code frameworks, deprecations of those code bases, and maintenance. It's easier for us to maintain our own resources. So the screenshot on the left is actually our app being used on a touch screen in a classroom with a learner on the left and a tutor on the right. Screenshot in the middle is an extract from the Tutor Hub, where there's a multimedia phonics dictionary with 300,000 words, each, as they can see there underneath with hello, the example word broken down into its phonetic structure. So this is really good for a beginner tutor as well to use in class and to look up the right way to break down words. The screenshot on the bottom right is an extract from the authoring tool for tutors. We won't get into that today. And here's some example of program resources: the role of print and the role of very old-fashioned things that we call cutouts. Letters of the alphabet and groups of letters to be moved around on a tabletop. These are very old, well-established techniques and technologies, print and cutouts, that is based on Diane's work and lots of other people's.
Students love these, honestly. It's great. The minute they pick up or to move and manipulate the words and the sounds together, they're reading. So they're reading all the time. It's a great resource. It's a bit of a pain when they fall on the floor, but
Yeah, it's messy, but this kind of learning is messy.
yeah, it is.
A quick word about research and development. So it's classic applied and action research, and we work very much with the literacy community and test and retest and redesign our resources as we go along. For those interested in pedagogy, it's Bloom's Two Sigma problem, which I won't go into now, and also obviously the science of reading. And there's good old fashioned instructional design, which is a term common in the US, but not in the UK for some reason. And our values, I suppose, are driven by Paulo Freire, who Diane is a big fan of Paulo Freire, a Brazilian educator who taught people to learn to read and write in Brazil. And for his trouble, got thrown in jail by the military government for teaching peasants to challenge unjust contracts. John Comenius, a Czech philosopher who you might call the father of EdTech, actually. He's a really interesting guy, well worth looking into. And Louise Michel from the Paris Commune, who's a revolutionary teacher. Also, our influences are really diverse as well. I won't go through all of them, but frugal innovation from the developing world. They have taught us a lot about how to develop a lot with few resources and be relevant to our end users. Oh, here we are. We've got here quicker than we thought.
Yeah, I know. It's the fastest we've ever done it.
We usually wander a lot. So we have been working with Skill Blocks and World Ed. And this is just, there's four of us. There's me, Diane, and then the other two guys are Colin and Will. Colin is a very skilled software engineer and linguistics expert. And Will on the right is a very skilled web developer and trainer. But anyway, we would be really happy to work with folk in the United States to get our stuff used and to look for pilot projects to be used in the USA as well. And just a quick shout out, we'll show you the app in the breakout. It features two virtual tutors that speak instructions to the learner. Right, so it's really designed for someone who's got no reading and writing. There's no real text in the interface apart from the text that the learner is learning. Those two virtual tutors currently speak English. Soon they're going to speak Spanish, to speak to the Spanish people who can speak English but can't read and write English. And we hope that there's people in the States that would be really interested in that. The app supports a high degree of independent learning and is used by people who do not use our program. Okay, but the Spanish app would not be free, unfortunately. It would be about £10 a year, English pounds, for a subscription to that app. But we'd love to discuss working with you on that in the future. We're currently getting this tested by a native speaker in Paraguay, who's a friend of ours. So we've got a wee bit of time. So here's a graphic of some of our influences. So the guy with the beard is Paulo Freire. The stern-looking woman who is looking to her right, that's Louise Michel. And the guy with the skull cap on is John Comenius, the Czech guy who's the father of EdTech. And if you want to find out more about him, the book on the far right, the textbook and the lecture, has got a fascinating discussion about John Comenius's role. And the guy in the bottom right is an Indian, I think, who invented, or one of the inventors, of a water-cooled clay fridge for use in hot climates without electricity. These guys have been very influential to our development so far.